We lost stream on a couple channels. Let me get them back up. All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Real quick, if you was watching on Facebook, we lost and we came back here real quick. We are live. We're talking about the buyer buy down strategy. This is Michael Debacker and Sascha Chatman. So with Chapman Realty Group, let's get back into it. So make sure you watch the replay. For whatever reason, the stream lost, but we're back. All right, cool. Now, the way I look at the buy down strategy, you know, and I love this as a real estate agent because here's the deal. I want to make sure that my client can get into a home as financially feasible as possible, right? And I want to make sure that they don't have to put out more money down the road. So you hear a lot of people say, "Well, I need to bite the bullet right now, and I need to jump on this, and I need to go ahead and buy a house." But the rates are yada yada or higher, right? I don't want to lock in at a 5.5 interest rate. Well, you don't have to. That's why we have this particular strategy right now.
Yeah.
And it is so advantageous, especially for anyone who's out there thinking about putting their house on the market. Let me explain something to you. If you're thinking about putting your house on the market, your house needs to be affordable. What does that look like? Affordable is not about how much money you sell your house for, which obviously you want to maximize your equity, Mr. Seller. Understand that. But affordable for a buyer is how much they're going to spend on a monthly basis. Most people budget monthly. And for me to get you down to a more feasible number on a monthly basis, we are talking tens and tens of thousands of dollars when the interest rates go up. So, and
Mhm.
I think that, Mike, you're gonna kind of walk us through that a little bit real quick, right? And just show
100%.
everyone what we're talking about. You
Yep.
want me to show your screen yet?
I think I can pull it up here. You see
Hold
it?
up. There we go.
And you see
All
the
right.
sales price highlighted there?
Yep, there we go. So let's kind of walk these guys through this and what that actually looks like, because I'm not, no one wants to go have a conversation, especially as a listing agent. Hey, Mr. Seller, let me get you to reduce the price by $50,000, $60,000 when they can actually give up a lot less, and then it's more effective for the buyer and the seller as well, making the house more affordable. So let's talk about that.
Cool. So this scenario I've put together here is assuming that our clients are going to be looking at a home at 450,000.
Hmm.
And so the very first column that you see, I've just highlighted it here. You can see that and I'll kind of go line by line here. The sales price is 450,000. We're going to just assume 20% for this exercise. You do not need to put 20% down to get a mortgage. I want to be very clear about that. You can do as little as 3%, 5%. This is just an exercise to just show you some numbers and scenarios. But again, for argument's sake, we'll do 20% down on this mortgage, which leaves you financing 360,000. Now, again, just pulling a random rate here, we're going to look at 5.25. This is assuming a 30-year fixed here today. Okay, and that payment is with taxes and insurance estimated in here, $2,812 a month. So if you were going to find a home at 450,000, this is a general scenario that we would probably be discussing. This is prior to any negotiations with the seller. So what we're going to look at is in columns 2 and 3 is we're going to look at the difference between, and I mentioned this earlier about negotiating $10,000 from the seller. In one scenario, that $10,000 will be used towards lowering the price. The second scenario, or column 3, will be used solely towards buying down the interest rate. So paying points to
Hmm.
lower the interest rate roughly 1%. So we're going to talk about that here. So column 2, as I mentioned, we reduced the price from 450 down to 440. We're still going to put 20% down. Now we're financing a little bit less at 352. The rate stays the same because we didn't buy down the rate in this scenario. So in this situation, we now look at the monthly payment. Just saved $59.17 a month. Is that bad? Of course not. You just saved $59 a month. You saved interest over the life of the loan. That's still a good thing. But this is the traditional way of thinking. This is the traditional way of negotiating. And when you get into a balance slash buyer's market, you have a little bit more power and control. And now you're equipped to have this conversation with the agent of a seller. You can now take the same 10,000 and use it much more effectively. Not in my opinion. This is
Right, right.
factually. You'll see it in the numbers. We can save you a lot more money by applying this simply towards the interest rate. So We're going to focus on column 3 now. We go back up to the original purchase price of 450. Again, we're not negotiating off the price. We're taking 10,000 and putting it towards the interest rate. Put 20% down. Finance the original 360. Look what happens to the rate. It goes from 5.25 down to 4.25. We've dropped 1% in that interest rate for the same $10,000. Now look what this does to the payment. We go down to $25.95. So that is a savings from the original scenario of $216 compared to negotiating 10K off the price, which was only a savings of $59 a month. So
Right,
you
right.
get an additional 150 savings per month for the same 10,000. That's incredible. And then on another conversation, we'll talk about how much that saves you in actual interest over the life of the loan if you were to keep it that long. But I think the fourth column is what really brings this home. So I just mentioned that if we went down to the rate of 4.25 in this scenario, we would have a monthly payment of $2,595. So the fourth column, what this is saying is, okay, let's say we only wanted to negotiate the price down. We wanted to leave the rate at the original 5.25%.
Mhm,
What
mhm.
price would I have to negotiate the home down to match the same payment of $2,595? So again, I mentioned we're going back at the same rate. But look at this price,
Right.
400,889. So to the seller, that's a reduction of basically 48,100, right? That's insane to think, or
That's a
49,100.
tough conversation. Imma tell you guys right now, I help buyers and sellers. That is a tough sale. That is
Correct.
a tough conversation to have with your seller,
And it's
right?
not happening,
Even in the
right?
transitional market where well, my friend got, they sold their house in 3 days, and they got 15 offers and way over asking. Well, that's not the market we're in right now. So it's a very difficult conversation to have anyway, to just understand that the market did change this much. But to ask someone, okay, let's drop down $50,000,
Correct.
in which let's talk about the difference though, Mike. So to make that affordable, to drive this home, what he's saying here, you're saying basically to make this the same, we're talking $50,000 off the price, or we're buying points, and it's the same
With only 10,000,
with
right?
only $10,000.
That's a net of 40,000 more to the seller. Now look, we want to negotiate, we want to get them down as much as possible. We want them to net as little as possible so that to your benefit. But again, this market has shifted quickly. It's kind of like what you were
Right.
saying. You can't go
And
to a
people have to
seller.
be reasonable to understand no one's gonna just give up $50,000. And,
Correct.
and what I don't like about this scenario, let's say you get them off $50,000. Like, yeah, okay, fine, I got them off of 50,000. However, if you're still gonna be rocking a 5.25 interest rate, guess what you're gonna do within the next 2, 3 years when the rates come back? But well, you're gonna refinance. You're gonna
100%.
wanna refinance eventually at some point in time. If we can help you get down to the point where rates are very much affordable, you don't have to worry about the burden of refinancing down the road, right? For example, I locked in at 3%. I bought a couple points to make sure we got down there, and I was complaining because I didn't get to 2%. I missed 2% by like a couple weeks.
Spoiled brat.
I know, spoiled rotten.
I love
But
it.
my point is this, guys. We need to understand the reality. Are you, Mr. Buyer, willing to give up $50,000? Of course not. So is the seller going to be willing to do that? And what we're seeing a lot of people doing price reductions. And I'll tell anybody out there who's looking to sell your house right now, you do not have to give up all your equity to make this work. Let me be very, very clear. Be very clear. In some cases, you're not getting up a ton of equity anyway. You're getting back what your equity really truly was. You have missed. I'll be the first one to say it. You have missed that bubble that was
Yep.
there. That let me give you my firstborn child bubble. Let me give you everything you want in the world bubble. You might have missed that, yes. And there's some areas in the DFW market, it still is happening. There's some special neighborhoods and special areas around there. But if you're in a more cookie cutter neighborhood, we're not seeing that as much. We're seeing neighborhoods that used to turn at 3 days on average, and now 30, 35 days right now. So understand, Mr. Seller, if there's a seller out there watching this, be nice to your agent. calm down, as long as they're doing their job, right? And understand that. So there are still other strategies out there that you don't have to do this. And this is a very, very good strategy for anyone looking to buy a house right now.
And it's very
Affordability
much
is
a
what we all
win-win.
look for. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great win-win. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Here's the fun thing about that when you say win-win, a lot of people look at that, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, I want to win."
Hmm.
Don't lose your house trying to win. Don't lose the house that's
We've
supposed to be
seen
your
it.
home trying
We've
to win. I've
seen it.
seen so many people do that. I've seen sellers do it, I've
Yeah.
seen buyers do it. You can try to win so much that you will actually lose, right? And there's other options out there, obviously, but why would you don't live a whole life of saying, "What if? Man, I wish I would have got that house over there." I've actually had some of my buyers do that before. Why didn't I go another $5,000? I could have got that house. It's a different
Sure.
market now, but that's what they were saying, right?
Yep.
That this is awesome. I mean, I believe that this is the game changer. Mike, we do have a question that got submitted here. Hold up, earlier. The question is, how much do points cost right about now?
Well, the cost of points is it's just a percentage of the loan. So
Mhm.
if you want to buy 1 point, that's 1% of the loan. Now, what does that equate to in terms of the buy down of the interest rate? It actually varies. It varies based on the profile. It varies based on the current market that we're operating in. So in this particular scenario, 10,000 was basically a 2.25, 2.5 points that we were illustrating here. And
Okay.
that's one of the
Okay.
cool things too about this strategy. This is actually a great question and really leads to another point is as a lender, we are really only allowed to charge about 2.25 discount points, even if our client says, hey, I'm willing to pay 5 points to get down to that 2%, just throwing something out there, obviously.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Per government rules, we can only charge so much unless we have concessions from the seller, because I'm going to get a little technical here. When we structure the itemization fee sheet in our systems, we can
Mhm.
either
Mhm.
just put a lump sum credit in there from the seller, which is fine, or we can actually specifically allocate the credits to specific costs, like points. And so if we allocate it to the points, now it allows you to buy as much as we can get credits for. So if you get a 10, 15, $20,000 seller credit and you want to
Right.
apply
Right.
all of that towards points, and now we're paying a total of 4 points, but they're being offset by the credit, great, we can do that, whereas otherwise we couldn't. So it's another loophole strategy to really get that market rate much, or get your rate much lower than the market rate, so you don't have to come back and refinance with me down the road. I would love another transaction with you, but at the same time, I'm going to advise you financially what's best for you and help you avoid paying the second set of closing costs on the refinance.
Right. Right. So one way of looking at this and saying this differently, guys, is look at a well qualified buyer who has really good credit score. They're going to get locked in. They're going to get quoted a good interest rate in today's market anyway. So, what's the best rate you've seen in the last week?
Actually, kind of using one of these strategies, we are
Mhm.
closing a 4.625 on a 30-year fixed.
It's not bad. That's not bad at all right now.
Not
It's
bad
not
at
bad.
all.
No,
Using
no,
this
no.
very strategy.
Right. So think about that. I mean, yeah, you can really make your home much more affordable. It's not like the market's about to fall apart. We're not in a position where everything is about to go. Is doom and gloom and real estate is going to fall apart. That's not about to happen here. And let's be very candid, very clear about DFW. DFW is not falling apart because we have jobs. We have jobs. Now, if jobs ever stop coming here, okay, it might be Armageddon time. It's time for the Walking Dead. It's Mad Max, maybe. But DFW's economy has been doing so well, and is one of the reasons why our real estate market has been off the chart because our supply and demand is all over the place. Because we have more people moving here than we have ever had before and migrating here
Hmm.
to DFW. So it's not like it's going to completely fall apart in any time soon. And in fact, you can expect home values to keep going up. That's one thing that you can I bet you $50 right now that home values will continue to going up for the rest of 2022, 23. I ain't gonna say 24. We'll see about that election, see what happens. But
Well, and
but you will see.
I think there's an important saying is that a reduction in list price is not a reduction in value. people are still listing their homes with the expectation they're going to have multiple offers and they can just do 50,000 over what the actual data supports. So we're seeing every listing, every other listing have a price reduction, but that doesn't mean we're losing value. It just means that now we have to really price it according to the comps and can't expect everybody to overshoot the target moving forward.
Right. Hey, Mike, we got a question. Let me bring this one on the screen here. So the question is, to be clear, how much we ask for our buyer to have an unlimited amount to buy down. Let me do it one more time. How much we ask for? How much? I'm assuming. How much should we ask for our buyer to have an unlimited amount to buy down?
Well, just like anything, it's a negotiation. So, being that this is a strategy that many agents are not familiar with, it can add some confusion to the conversation. So, if
Oh yeah.
you are, if you, if you're a buyer, if you're representing a buyer, and you're going to go to a seller's agent and say, "Hey, we want $15,000 in concessions," but this is not explained to them, and that's obviously where I would come in. We'd want to help explain this to the listing agent, the seller's agent. But if it's not explained to them, you're just raising a red flag, thinking now the seller and seller's agent think the buyer can't qualify and they need 15,000 to be able to qualify. So you've got to have the right conversation when doing this, but how
Hmm.
much to ask for, that's up to you guys. The way I would look at it is say, look at the list price, pull your comps as you normally would, and whatever price you would have offered, not thinking about the strategy, whatever price you would have offered. So again, let's use my scenario. If it was listed at 450, you pull comps, 440 is the correct value it should sell at. Well, that's a 10,000 difference. So now
Okay.
you know your number. Your number is 10,000. Go back to the seller and say, "Hey, we would buy it for 440, but we'd rather take that 10K and put it in concessions. We don't need the concessions, but it's a strategy we use to lower the rate." That's how
Right.
you come
Right.
up with your number. Now, I suppose in the one-off scenario, there could be a qualifying issue where our debt to income ratio is so tight that now we're on that same page having that conversation. Hey, go get me
Right.
10,000,
Right.
but
Right.
that's few and far between.
So yeah, I think that was a question, not how much, but how do we ask? So let me take that part. So as the agent that's negotiating the deal, right? When you're at, I mean, it's a sales concession is what you're asking for. So you're really asking for some type of sales concession or closing costs. Now, depending on what state you're in the state of Texas, we have that, I believe, I want to say paragraph 9 in the contract. I believe it's paragraph 9.
12A, I think.
12. Thank you.
Yep.
Paragraph 9 is the closing date.
Leave it
Boy,
to the mortgage guy.
look at that. Hey, you know that number, don't you?
I do.
But within your contract, no matter what state you're in, there's a place where you can ask for a seller's concession. Okay. A couple things you need to know is how much of a seller's concession can you ask for, right? Because there are rules around this depending on the type of loan. Like there's only so much you can get for VA, FHA. Well, why am I stating that? You know that, obviously, Mike. I forget
4% VA, 6% FHA. Conventional can be 3, 6, or 9% depending on the down payment.
what he just said, exactly. So there is, you do, but that's how you do it. I mean, you start having this conversation with them, and you start asking. Now, here's the thing: right now in our market, as we speak, there is no one is afraid to ask how much can you knock off the price, right? So the question that you need to be having with your buyer, in my opinion, is what's important to that buyer? Is it affordability or is it trying to get the price down? And then as someone like Mike, if not Mike himself, um, cost that out. Cost that out. How much more are you giving up on the long haul by taking on a higher interest rate versus trying to beat somebody up on price? Because there is a trade-off here. And I would tell you guys right now, I would much rather buy a house at $450,000 and try to get that rate down as close to 4% as I possibly can versus trying to beat somebody down and say, let's get this down to $400,000. And I'm still rocking somewhere at 5.5% interest rate because I know
Right.
I'm going to refinance that later. How much more money have I wasted paying in interest versus going to the principal of my actual loan? I
Yeah.
don't like interest rates. I don't like interest in any way whatsoever. So for me, that's what's important. But you need to have that conversation with your buyer and see, hey, what makes more sense from that perspective. And like I
Yep.
said, each state's a little different, but yeah. You can get that. You can get that seller's concession slash closing cost and just lump that into the contract. Now, I want to touch base on this. Touch on this because Mike brought it up too. To make this strategy work, guys. Okay, I want everyone to understand this. I want if sellers are you listening, buyers are you listening, listing agents are you listening, buyers, agents, buyers. I want everyone to hear this. In order to make this work, everyone has to be on the same page and understanding what we're trying to do from a goal. Okay. I cannot tell you right now how frustrating it is as an agent to watch deals fall apart because you have an agent on the other side who wants to quote unquote look like a rock star and beat the hell out the listing agent. Right now, this market, I would call it buyer's agent revenge because buyer's agents are out there begging for deals right now, and man, some egos are getting out of control up out here. And people are like,
Hmm.
oh no, this is bullshit. This is terrible. This is terrible. No, we want to get the price down, but then you're getting your buyer to get the price down at almost a 6% interest rate. Are you really doing a good service to your buyer? Now, if that's what they want, more power to you. But if they're not educated to understand that they can get it down lower, that's a whole nother story. So I had a deal the other day, Mike, that fell apart. We were negotiating and they just wanted price. They just wanted to
Hmm.
just beat up the price. And I was
Yep.
like, you really expect me to get my client to drop the price by $40,000? And as I brought this up, I said, let's talk about what is important to your client. And he kept saying they want the house to be affordable. Based off of what? The whole house. I'm like, no one's paying $400,000 cash. Okay. You're still gonna your buyer's still gonna be financing this deal. So what is really important? He said, well, it came out to monthly. Okay, let me show you how we can get it monthly.
Hmm.
Well, and this dude come back, well, we want this down and we want this. So now you want $40,000 and you want another 15,000 to buy points. Child, please.
Right.
Go somewhere. Go
And this
somewhere.
is a this
And
is
then
a
here's the
great
truth.
thing for our sellers agents to pay attention to. If you are going into an appointment with a prospective seller whose business you're trying to earn, we know that the new agent down the street is going to come in and promise them whatever they want. When you come in and actually drop that truth bomb that they missed again the peak of the market, this is a
Yeah.
way to help ease that pain a little bit, and we can show them this presentation, and now it's a value add for you to them to show how you are different than the other ones that are trying to earn their business and how you can truly net them the most.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the one thing I will say that was very difficult for me, for example, and I'm being completely transparent here. I had conversations with many sellers before I went to Disney. And Disney was a whole before I call it before Disney, right? BD. That sounded wrong. But anyway, before Disney, it was that sounded bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. But before Disney, we were seeing, what, 4%, something like that before I went out of town. And it changed on a dime. When I got back, let's say 4.5, right? When I got back, I saw 6.2. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I think, matter of fact, I had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So it made me have to go back and have all these conversations and say, hey, what we originally discussed is that's not where we are.
Right.
That's a very difficult thing, but you have to have that conversation. So if you're a listing agent, you're an agent out there, you need to just tell them what the reality is, what the market looks like now. And I'll tell you for myself personally, I was saying, man, it's going to turn, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. It didn't. It didn't. I was hoping against hope. I was begging against begging, and it did not. So the market just changed, and that is a reality that we have to look at, guys. But this is a very, very viable strategy right now that you can get in, you can get a great house, and you can make that house extremely affordable right here, right now.
100%. Yep.
100%. So, yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I got another question. I'm trying to read this question. Hold up.
Yeah. I'll let
Do
my
you think
screaming children entertain you guys for the.
It's all good. We all got kids, right? I got the door closed from the puppy. Do you think interest rates are going to go down within the next 6 months?
I do. Um, what does that mean, though? Right? We don't know. A lot of people that I like to follow and who are providing a lot of the information that I digest, and there is a belief that we're going to dip back into the fours organically without the buy down strategy. what's weird to kind of think about. So number one, and if you're in the industry, you probably heard this. If you haven't, then I'm
Right,
going to
right,
drive this home. The Fed raising the rate does not mean mortgage rates go up. Lenders love to post the meme every single time the Fed raises the rate, and they basically quote that exact thing. But that is the
right.
truth. What the Fed is doing when they raise the Fed rate is they're trying to control inflation. Controlled inflation and inflation that is going down is good for mortgage interest rates. Your Fed rate is short-term rates, like your lines of credit, your credit cards. It's
Right,
not
right.
mortgage interest rates. So uh, we have a Fed that's continuing to raise the Fed rate, which again puts downward pressure on mortgage rates. That's a good thing. The recession, believe it or not, that's actually good for mortgage interest rates. Things that are not good for mortgage interest rates, supply chain issues, the war in Ukraine. Those are things that hypothetically could get settled here in the next 1, 2, 3 quarters. We don't know,
Right.
but there are more activities putting downward pressure on interest rates that we think again is that's what we're going to see. Um, Nobody expected COVID. Nobody thought rates would go to 3% or lower. Obviously, things can change at the drop of a hat, and unfortunately, I'm fresh out of crystal balls. But just based on the research I've been doing, the market analysis, I would not be shocked if we dip back into the force.
Right. Okay, not good. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good because it's up and down like a yo-yo right now. And when you look at this, it's like, okay, we'll get there. And here's the thing. I want everyone to understand. Mike and I, we do a lot of deals together. We work together. He works with our entire team, and we are obviously trying to make sure people keep their spirits up. But we're also going to shoot you straight. We're going to tell you exactly how it is. We're going to rip that scab off so you understand, what the market is actually looking like right now. So, um, but the market is turning around. It's a great time to buy. Mike, if someone wants to get in contact with you, they can catch you where exactly?
You've got my cell phone there at the bottom. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. That's the quickest way. You can find me on social media, Facebook at the Mortgage Mike. I'm all over the place, man. So I should be pretty easy to find.
All right, and then we're dropping Mike's Calendly link out there as well. If you're looking to get pre-approved, Mike's link is out there. Schedule some time and talk to him. If you need to have a conversation with me about how much your house is worth, or you're trying to figure out what move you make in this market right now, whether you're buying or selling, my Calendly link is going to be down below as well to help you guys get started to figure this out. It is not doom and gloom. The market has not fallen apart. It's a great time to make this happen. Now, real quick, I'm going to show you guys our listing of the week. Let me show you guys an awesome home that you can get into here. Hold up, let me pull it up. That is perfect, waiting for you guys to do the buyer buy down strategy right now. It is excellent. It's housesthebomb.com. I keep telling everybody it's thebomb.com because, well, not just because I'm selling, because it is thebomb.com. All right. All right. So this right here, this is 3920 Long Hollow Road, located here in Roanoke. It still has a Fort Worth address as well. So you may see Fort Worth, guys. So just understand that. This house here is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, is 2,749 square feet. And I just got authorization from the seller to drop the price down. So we're going to drop this price from 465 to 460. And we're off the top automatically giving $5,000 in closing cost. Okay. Why are we doing that? For this reason right here, because we're doing the buyer buy down strategy. So here's a house with a great example that we're talking about. It is a beautiful home. It comes with a hot tub. You see this right here, guys? This hot tub and this pergola here was done 2 years ago. Unfortunately, these guys have to move, and you're putting a lot of money into their home, but their move can be your gain. Roof is brand spanking new, 6 months old, and it's excellent. Oh, I love the backyard. Love it. Here it is from up top. You can see this here. Imagine it, man, long summer nights, come out, relax, see the stars, get in the hot tub, and just relax. It's a beautiful house here. Like I said, it's located in Roanoke. And one thing I like about Roanoke, Roanoke is the dining capital of Texas. Um, and it is growing in equity like crazy. As we see Fort Worth and Denton get closer and closer together, guys, you have Roanoke right there that's going to be getting that huge equity boom for the stand the test of time. You have all type of industries over there. This is Northwest ISD. It is an excellent home. Okay. They just redid these floors. They added wainscoting here in the dining room. These stairs, I wish I could get closer to show you guys that solid oak. Beautiful house. So it is excellent. Huge master bedroom. And one thing I like about it, you can't see it from this direction here, is in the master bath, the closet goes and connects with the utility room. It is excellent. In fact, I'm going to drop the link for the video on my YouTube channel so you guys can actually see the virtual tour of this home here. It is nice. We will be having an open house this Saturday from 12 to 3. One of my new agents, Blake Yang, is going to be there. If you have any questions about this particular home, please let me know. I'm going to drop this one here in the chat for you guys as well. But this is one of the houses out there ready and prime, perfect for the buyer buy down strategy. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to myself or Mike. We are here to help you guys out. We want to make sure that you understand what you're doing when you're trying to make a real estate move here in the market. One more time. Sascha Chatman here with Chatman Realty Group. I'm the team leader here. We have 7 agents on our team ready to help you guys get going. Going on over to ChatmanRealtyGroup.com. It is the best place in the market right now to find a home because we only have active homes on the market. Not like Zillow or Realtor.com with a whole bunch of pending junk that you can't buy. Only what's active on the market because once it goes on the market over here, we take it right off. Oh, we had another one come in. All right. Oh, that was me. My bad. Drop that link there as well. One more time, Mike, how can they catch up with you?
Yeah, mortgagemikeoftexas.com or Facebook at the Mortgage Mike, or just shoot me a dang text, man. My phone number's at the bottom there. That's the quickest way.
All right. Cool beans, guys. We will take care of you. If you have any questions, reach on out. Peace.